Welcome to episode of Explore Randolph County. I'm JR. This is Justin. I'm the one that's the butthole.
Really? What'd you do?
I just heard that I was called that by one of the Board of Education members. That was the clean version.
Listen, I brought the board office donuts this morning. I was nice and friendly at least.
Well, this wasn't the board office. It was a Board of Education member. But when you're called on your crap, they hate that.
Well, there's some clarity. We do need to give some clarification because there is some things in your conversation you had about administration. Some people assume you were talking about principals. And some people said, we can't have 1.5 principals.
I never said principals.
I agree. I
said
understand.
Administration. It shows how they listen. And what it shows to me is the Board of Education has already made up their mind in ignorance.
And
they're not willing to admit their mistake.
I don't disagree. I think they've made up their mind. I do. So we met with, I met with Dilly and Brad. And so I don't know what we want to get into. There's lots of information.
And we're going to try to make this quick.
Yeah, right.
Because I have to edit these things.
Sorry. So I had a list of questions. The first question that I've had, I'm telling you, I've had more. I got another call today. Call this person at 4:30 today. Just say you're Justin. Like, who? So I have lots of calls, and I'm listening to people, and I'm hearing, this is what I hear, and this isn't me. This is what I hear. The corruption is bad in all of Randolph County. That's what I hear, all of Randolph County. The corruption in the school is bad. They do things underhanded and dishonestly. That's not Justin. That's what I'm told. So someone's like, hey, find out about the football field. So I talked to somebody and they said, oh, don't worry about the football field. That was all donor money. No, I found out today the football field some of it was a contractor who did the work for free. But some of it was the county paid for it. The Randolph
General
County.
fund money, taxpayers' dollars.
So that was for the football field. I believe it's called the Weimer Field.
Is that the one that they have to totally rip up because they screwed it up?
That
was another thing I've heard.
I haven't got every detail on that.
We have contacts in Elkins too.
Yeah, unfortunately, they keep calling me. I'm like, I got to do my job. Anyway, so that came up. But so we met had an hour to meet with the gentleman who was the CEO of the hospital there, and with Dilly, and then Brad was there, and then they met with Dilly alone, some of the businessmen, but pretty much Dilly was talking about, what we're going to do and this, and he's like, it's a 5-year plan. I'm like, well, tell me about this 5-year plan. He's like, listen, I've been transparent. I've said it over and over. The problem is once we go to the board meeting and we talk, what happens? We all leave.
Yeah.
And so then they talk, and so he's been talking about this plan, right?
Yeah.
So he was hired in July, and he even said, I've been rushing into this because he couldn't do a levy in time. It wasn't in time to do a levy. He had to do, I think he's now talking about a bond in 2026, and this is his plan.
Be the next
May
next voting year.
Yep.
You can do them anytime. You just have to pay extra money to do one out of season.
He said he didn't get it in time. He even said I was kind of rushed into some of this stuff, and I said, well, isn't that what the impact statement was wrong because you were rushed? So you know what I found out? In this plan, it's talking about closing to Elkins School. So Elkins they've created this type of a hate, maybe hate's not the right word. Just the kids in Elkins were asked by a parent to say, if we don't close Harmon and Pickens, we're going to lose band. So band kids reach out to the board, right? And most of the board lives in Elkins. I heard that one of the board members she's divorced and doesn't officially live in the district anymore. I don't know if that's good or bad or if that's true or false. I didn't double check it, but that's what I was told.
We have the same thing in Grant County.
Who knows?
I'm telling you, the corruption at the government, because their government, is ridiculous.
Dude,
unless the people, and I'm calling on the Elkins people to stand up and get in their faces and tell them, we will boycott your businesses. We will boycott you personally. We will make your life a living hell if you don't do what's best for the kids.
I don't think Elkins knows that they're going to close 2 schools in Elkins.
Well, Elkins, there you go. 2 schools closing, and you're going to have to vote on a bond, which will up all of your property taxes.
May 2026. And so this isn't me. And then year 3, elementary school construction begins. So I'm assuming they're shutting 2 elementary schools down and building new ones.
The dishonesty in this board. We have one board member who has been very honest with us. The rest, they might have PhD after their name, but all they should have is BS
Well,
because that's all they shovel.
That means,
I mean,
wait, that means BS means a bachelor.
I know, it was a play on it.
I'm trying to make you
Justin.
sound better to the
I know,
people.
but it was a play.
You didn't mean what you said. What you
No,
thought.
I did mean what I said. It's a play on
I
BS,
understand.
meaning Bachelor of Science, but
We reached out to all the board members, and we did.
yeah, they don't have time for us
Well,
because we called them. One does. One
no,
does.
two of them have reached back. Two said a third one's not responding. Two has said we're not going to talk, but one has.
That's because the BS. That's what it is. This is not about the kids. It is not about the kids.
So let's dig into
Dilly
that.
said it today.
Let's dig
it's
into that.
about money.
Financially. So here's his plan. It's public, obviously. The plan is we don't have the finances based on, so they're blaming the legislation, saying the new school, the new student aid formula means, first off, it means they've had 10% decline in students. He said a lot were homeschooling.
Smart ones.
He said him and I disagreed on homeschooling,
Yeah.
Having better results in education.
He has to because he's a liberal that has no clue what he's talking about.
He
Homeschool is the best education there is.
He didn't agree. He said that he said I have different stuff really.
Yeah.
So 300 some kids have left. Teachers haven't left. They haven't downsized in teachers. So this gives them the opportunity to reorganize the
It was a
entire.
long day for you.
It was a long day. I drove in snow to Elkins. I'm like, why me? And I left early. There's more snow in the cabins when I left. Anyway, so they want to reorganize the school. So he has a 5-year plan. So the problem is, and I hate to say this, because all my friends in Harmon, I think their mind is made up. Because if
Yeah.
you don't do step 1, you can't do step 2,
Yeah.
3. Because if step 1 doesn't work, then
And I think it's time to put the onus where it is. This is on the board members. The closing is on the board members. They are the ones. They are the ones why you're in debt. They are to blame.
so let's
Period.
So let's get into some detail. The board. So I said to him, to Dilly, he was like, "Yeah, I do this." And I said, "But listen, the board votes." And he said, "Yeah, but I think He was like, "Yeah, but I sit down and I guide." I said, "Well, you have influence, but you don't have a vote."
Yeah. He's
Well,
a nothing.
He doesn't have any.
Superintendents are nothing.
They have no authority.
Yes.
To make this, the 5 people that are voted in.
Yes.
And just so you know, it only takes 3 of the board members to vote yes to close, and the other 2 appear to be more genuine. I have faith in them. But if 3 vote to close, it's closed.
You mean ones that don't have family members that work for the school?
Well,
Let's just call it what it is. If we're gonna hurt the kids, I'm gonna hurt the adults because they're not being adults.
So so I want to get to the kids. Anyway, there's a lot of nepotism. There's a lot of nepotism. And you commented that Franklin, Pendleton County, the state stepped in and said
stepped in and said, "Start
no more
get rid of
spouses.
people.
No more
Yeah.
spouses."
Get them out.
So the superintendent's wife works. She doesn't like you. She said you were yelling the other night. The treasurer's wife works
Because they don't like men.
Well,
they're all liberals.
They don't like when you tell them what the problem is,
Yeah.
and that they're part of it. So there's a lot of family involved. So anyway, this is the plan. If he doesn't do this plan, he probably would consider himself a failure. Is what I'm thinking. And just because this is the plan,
Considering
This is
his
the plan.
contract hasn't been re-upped to 2 places,
But-
that's probably true.
So this is the plan. I'm pretty sure that Harmon and Pickens, there's so much information we can go through. I don't feel good about it. After today, I literally left and I thought, you know what? This Sean has his mind made up. And he has the board members that agree with him because he was very clear that, oh no, but what I say. Well, when you get people on the board that are relatives or close friends, it does help, as we learned in Grant County, right?
Yeah.
And so that's actually smart. That means they're smart. They know to get a decision through, I need people. So what it comes down to is its finances. We can't financially survive given all the schools. So it's not about what's best for the kids. It's not about what's best for the education of the kids. It's about how do we continue to spend money the way we want with the general fund, and on the people that we hired and the salaries we pay them. We don't want to touch that. We just got to touch the kids. So let me tell you, that would be like, let's say McDonald's was having an issue financially, and let's say that McDonald's we are having financial issues. We're going to shut down the Petersburg office, and you have to now buy your McDonald's in Moorfield, but we're going to keep paying everyone like we're paying. We're just going to disrupt the customer, right? So let's say they're having some financial issues. So they're going to lose business, obviously, because I'm not going to go to Moorfield, right? So
Yes, you would.
oh, if I'm going to work.
You can't. You can't
Okay,
give up
maybe.
McDonald's.
Okay, another story.
Yeah.
But in other words, the customers are the students, and this is not about the students.
It's not about.
And I
students.
understand that Dilly, he came across the best he could, being extremely, what word should I look for? He came across like he was very empathetic to the situation. He said, "We know we're going to mess up. That's probably not the word. We're going to affect some children. We're trying to affect the least amount we can." But I was told in like 7-8 years ago there was a plan to consolidate schools, but Harmon and Pickens stayed open, but the Elkins schools got consolidated. So I've heard that different situations, and so the issue now is that the plan is going to help them be more financially strong, because they'll close down buildings. It's not consolidation, it's closing them down. And it'll give them the ability to continue paying the high amounts of pay to their staff.
which we hit on.
Because when I even said today, I said, well, listen, why can't some of your directors do 2 roles? And he said, well, some do. I don't think one of them was his wife, but he said some do. I said, so what about the 1 in every 2,000? He said, if I went to Pennsylvania, I bet the way they call administrators is something different. I don't know if that's true, because he was kind of questioning the audit that was done for $1 million by the governor.
Yeah.
So who knows? But the challenge is, I didn't feel when I was there, like, how can you help us save money?
Yeah.
How
if
can
you
you
can
help
us do it, let's keep it open. It was we're closing.
No, here's the plan.
And this is what we're sticking
This is what
to.
we're going to do. We're not going to hire. We're not going to let go. I can't let go of 32. I can only let go of 11 legally. We already called legislation to verify that.
And we also called legislation to tell that he blamed legislation on this.
Yeah, they did.
I'm like, I'm going to name him. You want to name it? I'll have legislation breathing down your neck.
So their feedback was student enrollment's down. Special education IEPs are up. And so the comment was, we're making less money because students are leaving. I asked him why students were leaving. He said because of their school experience. And then the cost of special education IEPs, they said they don't make as much money off them. So they're like, the state is, first off, the formula doesn't help us because we're a sparse county. They help us out a little bit, but it's not enough because we're a sparse county. And I think Pocahontas was the same.
So is Pendleton.
Yeah, but size-wise, it takes into consideration the size of it and stuff. So, and Pendleton's not as big.
Not as big, but Pendleton was in that same boat for being far away and the size of
Understand.
it. Yeah.
Randolph County is the largest county.
Yeah, I sat through these meetings with the Chamber of Commerce when they were trying to get the student aid formula fixed for Grand County.
Gotcha.
So, but I also know that when your budget is over $50 million, you have plenty of fat.
82% is spent on staff, and he says I can only get rid of 11. And so my comments was, well, what about the staff here at the office? And he said, well, the challenge is the state, this is why he blamed the legislation. The state requires us to have this. State requires us to have all these people. I'm like, really? Can you show that to me? Can you show me who you can let go? He's like, well, we'd rather not tell you who we can let go because that may make them feel insecure, which I get. But they're standing on the standpoint of we're required to have the staff we have. Now, the Board of Education approved their salaries and approved hiring them, but there was never a conversation of, you know what, this is going to suck. How can we help the kids? Yeah, what can we do? Let's look at the money. Let's look at the finances together. We had a CEO there of a hospital, very intelligent gentleman. He is a CPA. There was no conversation about, we'd love to find a way to make this work. It was, this is my plan, and this is what I'm going to do.
He's a very small-minded individual.
I'm going to do
and
this.
That's his problem. And he's from the school of all these superintendents that take these trips out to California to get indoctrinated on the liberal way. It's not about the kids. It's about the next generation of government-dependent people. And that's what this is.
So here's some of the suggestions that were in here. Virtual school. So we talked about that because we knew virtual school was horrible during COVID. I'm not talking about West Virginia. I'm talking about nationwide. Horrible. Yeah. He said, well, we have a different way we do virtual school now. Barber County has a system set up where they're actually your teachers. It's actually not just you're on a notebook doing your own thing, because he said it only worked for like 1 or 2% of people that were kind of self-motivated. There's a teacher on the TV or a tablet or whatnot that kind of keeps an eye on helping out. They even talked about doing virtual school in Harmon at the building, getting rid of staff still to help them out financially. I think they were going to let go of 11 for $1.2 million savings or something when shutting down Harmon. I think part of that was there. So that's what he's looking for. I know that, and I've never read his book. I know that there were some thoughts about, AI technology and whatnot, and how to use it. But the thing that shocked me today was there's going to be a closure. There's going to be 2 schools in Harmon and Elkins are going to close in this plan. Year 3, elementary school construction begins. It looks like Tigard's Valley is going to be kept together is what it looks like. It appears to be. Elementary school construction, other bond call construction begins. Elementary school construction concludes. Students moving to new schools. So,
and I'm just telling you, Elkins, vote this bond down.
Well, can I tell you what was funny? Out of everyone in that room, everyone, I said, listen, I have to tell you, I'm against taxing the people. And I know that you all are for. And because they're like, if we get a bond, we get a levy, we can do amazing things, right? And that's what I hear.
Yeah.
But I said, just so you know, you're not going to get me on any call about we can help the kids. When we're paying 83% of our money to the teachers, the staff, the principals, the administration, the when we're spending that much money, it's not about the kids. It's about, I want, this plan helps me keep my travel. I keep traveling. The superintendent's allowed to spend up to $10,000 without approval by the Board of Education.
Oh my God.
$10,000.
Okay. The Board of Education should be kicked out immediately for agreeing to that.
Okay. So he now
Greene County, you're not allowed. You're not allowed to go on a trip without the board voting on it.
So here's how I found this out. I said, so listen, there was a superintendent conference in Charleston a couple weeks ago. Superintendent went and 2 ladies from the office went. 3 ladies went. Why, as if my family is financially in trouble or my business, I'm going to tell them, only the superintendent goes. Even then, maybe he does it virtually, if virtually is the right way to learn, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, so why?
That's a good point. Tell him to sit in his office on his butt for free and watch it virtually.
So they say, well, we already had the hotels booked in July. I said, well, listen, if you really care about the kids, call and cancel the hotel rooms. And they just looked at me. Yeah, just call and cancel them.
They're full of crap. And I don't care if his wife gets upset at me. Your husband's full of crap.
Well, listen.
It's not about the kids. You're proving it.
The Board of Education. So the way it works is then once they go on their trip, and if it's under 10K, they bring it to the Board of Education, and then the board approves paying it. But he's allowed up to 10K.
That is
if it's over 10K,
so wrong.
If it's over 10K, there's some stipulations. If it's over 10K where they can do it.
Now we're not talking.
I was shocked about it.
Now we're not talking to Harmon anymore. We're talking to Elkins.
Yeah.
As taxpayers, you should be livid. You should, as Elkins people, be in that next board meeting and saying, this is going to stop.
So the board is giving the superintendent the ability to do this. So he has the ability to. So, but the thing that blows my mind when I question, I'm like, listen, you're saying you're in financial dire. Why would you not cancel that trip? Why would?
Because it's their party.
There's like
the party girls.
There's like,
all I see is Saturday Night Live, them out there going, dude, what is love? Baby, don't. Because that's what it is.
Well, there's some stuff that I've got back from Charleston about some of these staff, which I have no clue how the heck this got back to me. But there's some rumors in Charleston about some of this. And so when I get calls, people are like, you have no clue the corruption. You have no clue. So they bring their own vehicles. They get reimbursed 67 cents a mile.
Which is above the federal limit.
Which is 64 cents. But they should have to use the county vehicles. And the county has 2 vehicles plus the vehicle they use for driver's ed that they use during the summer. They have county vehicles. They bring their own. They don't ride together a lot of times. I don't know what happened at the superintendent meeting, but so this is the conversation. The conversation isn't, well, are you frustrated, or do you think it's appropriate to spend this much money knowing you have to send 130 kids over the mountain? Are you comfortable spending this much money instead of saving this, and I'm going to tell you a story here, instead of saving this and instead of spending money and hiring people, and now you're going to make the kids travel over the mountain.